We'd like to talk to you about 7 stages of PBL. But first of all, I'd like to ask you some questions. How do you feel about projects?
I actually love doing projects with the students because it gives them a chance to kind of go off book. It's more interesting, and it's kind of more fun as well.
Oh.
And also, I guess the main thing is that it's real life.
Speak about your last project you did with a student. What was it called?
I didn't actually have a title, but like how to improve your English.
How did you feel about the project? Did you like it?
I actually really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to because I wasn't sure. It was the first time I did it, but it worked out really well.
All right. Did the students like it? Did they enjoy the project?
I think they really enjoyed it, and I think they got an awful lot out of it. Even things that they didn't expect to get when we first started.
All right. What did you like the most about the project?
I think the thing that I liked the most was that even though I had given them a sample script, their script was so much better than the actual sample that I gave them because they had a lot of personality to them, and I think that was my favorite part.
So there are good driving questions and bad driving questions. Could you think of a bad driving question for your how to improve your English?
Yeah.
Like for example, how do I use the present perfect? Why would that be a bad driving question?
So it's just like this is again, it's just to focus on the grammar things. I wanted them to focus on the more of a holistic approach to improving specific skills and then sub skills and within that. So I wanted them to go a little bit deeper but then broader at the same time. And so I didn't want them to kind of go, and I said to them, I don't want you to teach grammar. That's not
like present perfect
it's
form,
because that's not what I wanted them to do.
Could you give us tips of coming up with can you off the top of your head? If you don't, we just edit it. And
no, it's recording.
It's recording?
Yeah, so if you see
okay. So one of the big things about PBL is that you have this mythical driving question which sustains inquiry, which allows students to become autonomous. So if they say, what do we do now? You say, go back to the driving question. Did you have a sense when you were you had this open-end question of how to improve my English that the pupils came up with new ways?
They actually, well, it's funny because in a sense it was kind of self-driven as opposed to research-based. So rather than going to actually YouTube videos and looking at different things, they actually came up with the idea themselves. So rather than going and like doing a lot of research, I wanted them to actually come up with the idea themselves.
Right. So the third stage is the authenticity. Would you want to add to this?
Yeah.
Or?
So what for me it was important for them to actually do something that this is how we actually started the project. Is like, what do you do when you don't know how to do something? And what they do is they go to YouTube and they ask YouTube, how do I do this and how do I improve things? So this is how we started. And like what I wanted them, the final product was supposed to be a how-to video that you would see on YouTube.
On YouTube. Okay.
So the question is about the student voice and choice.
Yeah, the student's voice and choice. So basically the way we started the project is that I said, okay, so different ways to how to improve your English, and we need to think about the different areas. So they came up with all of the different areas that they needed. So they actually came up with pronunciation, speaking, and so on. So, and I just put up on the board what they said, so I didn't add anything. So, and then they kind of added towards the end. So they had that discussion, and then it was kind of like choice as in, kind of a box of choice, if you like it. So they all kind of drew from the hat.
So what is the most challenging step in this space?
The reflection.
Yeah.
I think it was like, for them, the product itself helped them with the reflection because, one of the stages was writing the script, and I corrected all of their scripts and gave them feedback, and we did pronunciation bits for the different scripts. And for them, actually watching the video was the kind of the reflective part because they said, okay, and even some of them went, I made that mistake again. You corrected me before, my script, and I still made the same mistake again. Or then spotting new mistakes that they had made because they were improvising rather than, sticking to the script. So that was in that moment of actually watching the final product.
Well, in your opinion, it's a more competition or more cooperation?
I think for the groups that I've It's a bit of both, but for this this project that I'm talking about, it was more cooperation, because at different stages I said, okay, so you have this part ready, so you're going to go off and practice together. I want you to give each other feedback on how you were performing as you go, as opposed to it being an isolated thing, because that's the whole part of the project-based learning as well, that it's like a community.
Normally, are they proud of their product, or they are critical?
They're both. With this particular one, it was funny because, again, the feedback was just so immediate from other students, because once the video was there, some of the students were like,
terrible. My voice is so
terrible.
difficult.
Yeah, but they all said that. My voice is terrible, but I think the reaction from the other students was amazing. So again, it was great to see, because the reaction was so immediate that the students were like, I did do another project that was a little bit more competitive between two groups, because they could see what the other group was doing, and then they wanted to do better. And it's like, no, they're doing this, so our next one is going to be. So I think healthy competition.
Great. Thank you so much, Juliana. Present my.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.